Welcome to Go Play Esports Podcast with Christopher Turner, Go Play founder and CEO, esports coach at the Southern University Lab, and gamer. Discussions on the emergence of esports at the K-12, collegiate, and professional level. Let's go! Let's go play!
Hi, this is your host, Christopher Turner. This is another podcast, Go Play Esports. You already know it is. You already know what we do here. Same routine, man. We try to add in some spicy stuff, some new stuff, but it's a growing process. I thank you for being along the ride thus far. And today's episode is like any other episode. We always have a special guest, and we're going to get to that special guest, but you know we got to get to the art of business first. Envy Gaming Acer partnership extended to Dallas Fuel. Envy Gaming announced over the weekend that it renewed its partnership with hardware maker Acer and expand the alliance, including its Overwatch League team. Acer's Predator Gaming hardware brand now sponsors the Dallas Fuel in addition to Team Envy. The company announced their initial partnership in March 2019. Everybody knows that I'm in Louisiana, and Dallas was home for me a little while. So major shout out to Dallas Fuel, major shout out to Envy Games, and major shout out to Acer and that Predator chair, man. You should check it out. They got a couple of series. They actually have a big rig that spins and rotates and stuff like that. So let's drop a bomb for all those brands and continuing partnerships within esports. So let's get on with it. Today's guest, he's a managing director of Veritas, former journalist, stage host, and moderator who has worked in head of editors in Europe, biggest media publishing house. He's a gamer since early childhood, esports fan, back when they still called it competitive gaming. And he's also the co-founder and managing director for Level. And we're going to get to what Level is, but we're going to welcome Dorian Gorr to the show. Welcome to the show, Dorian.
Hey, thank you for having us. Greetings from Germany.
Yeah, man, we got you all the way in from Germany, man. I'm excited for this interview, and I thank you, man. I thank you for coming on and spending, 30 minutes with us.
Sure, my pleasure, really.
So I did a brief introduction. So let's just start from the foundation of it all. Go into your background for a few minutes.
Sure. Pretty much like I've always been into gaming. Been a gamer my entire life, really. Was on the very early stages of esports. I was pretty much there, following it as a teenager. Warcraft 3, Quake, the whole thing, Counter-Strike especially. And I tried a couple of esports startups here and there in the Berlin scene. Berlin is really growing and emerging in that space. Great city to be in. And all my former startups, they all failed pretty much. And the reason was that I was always missing my counterpart in that sense. And in the summer of 2017, I met my business partner, Thomas Felger, great creative mind, serial entrepreneur, really, really innovative guy. And he said, yeah, let's do an esports company together. And this is what Veritas became. And Veritas is a company behind Level. And what we, from the very beginning, said what we want to build is pretty much the Hard Rock Cafe meets Zoho House for esports and gaming. So physical gaming spaces where you can go as a member of the community, where you can come to play, watch others play, compete in tournaments for the first times, create content, just socialize. And we build these Level venues now all across the world, but obviously we start in Berlin. I'm sitting actually right in one of the streaming booths right now of Level, and produce this from here, which is right at Checkpoint Charlie, so very touristy sightseeing destination in Berlin. And from there on out, we will also spread out to the United States. We have New York in our focus pretty much. We want to go to South America, the rest of Europe, and bring like these awesome premium gaming and esports venues all across the world to gamers worldwide.
It's an awesome platform, and it's an awesome concept. What was the inspiration behind Level?
It was pretty much that we took a look at the market and what or the spaces that gamers use to socialize, and we figured that they deserve better. So we actually, I mean, in the States, we have obviously the large arena, 1,000 seats, but it's a Tuesday evening, and then it's tough to fill these out, And on the other hand, over in Europe, we have them as well a lot, these like esports bars. So pretty much internet cafes or bars that have put in 3 PCs, and then they say, yeah, that's esports. And we figured there's like a huge gap in between the arenas and the bars. This is like these, what we call community spaces. So a venue where you can bring in a couple of hundred people for a premium event in a highly sophisticated, technical-wise, very advanced location, where it's more not about, the biggest tournaments in the world. We're not competing with like the LoL worlds and the ESL ones of the world, but where you can come to watch like the best of the best play in a very intimate setting. That was pretty much the inspiration. We said that gamers simply deserve better than the 2 extremes that we've seen so far on the market.
And I know, I'm a gamer. You're an avid gamer as well. And from the standpoint of, from a gamer's perspective, I feel like, after looking at some of the pictures and some of the bullet points that I found for you guys, I think it's like you said, it's that in between as far as, going to a big stadium and having a gamer to come in and kind of relax and play and kind of socialize. Can you speak on from the point of view of like being a gamer, what would be like the average gaming experience once they walk into the space?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you walk in, we want to give you it's all about experience. We want to give you a unique experience that you've not had so far as a gamer. Not sure if you've ever been to Gamescom over here in Europe, biggest convention in the world, or more or less. Really great. And we want to create pretty much this kind of exciting experience on a daily basis. So when you walk in, you have a full restaurant in there. There's a burger restaurant. There's this awesome premium shop with like collector's editions, really good merchandise, high quality, 14 square meter. Oh, sorry, I have to convert it to square feet for you, but I don't know. 14 square meter LED wall, really huge. We have a casual floor. Then its a location is over 2 floors. And on the casual floor, we have then arcade machines, all in our own branding. We have racing seats, a high-end VR setup. Stuff like that. So that's also a space where people can just come in, even if they're not like hardcore esports fans, they can still come in, eat a burger, hang out, have a couple of drinks, and get triggered to watch more games. They hang out there, try VR for the first time. And then when they go downstairs, then that's where I'm at home. That's where also I guess you are at home. That's the hardcore stuff, right? You go downstairs and there's like the stage. We have a noise canceling dome on top of that. That's something that has not been built before ever, right? Like really a kick-ass dome that can filter up to 50 decibels. So really highly advanced with a circular stage setup or like an arena around it with 250 seats. Behind that is a gaming area with 50 high-end PCs, like latest technology all around, where you can just sit down and play. You pay by the hour. We have a membership model too. Or if you're just in the mood of hanging out and watching some games, we have a complete cinema room, like with 50 cinema, like literally cinema seats, with 4K projector, 5.1 surround sound system, where you can obviously watch the big world championships going down, but watch it with others, which is so much more fun, right? We have a VIP lounge too, and then on top of that, we have a production studio in the background that with 2 studio rooms, streaming rooms, etc., that you can rent in case you want to try out streaming for the first time. And yeah, that's pretty much the experience as you walk in. And no matter if you are in the mood for some VR or want to sit down at a high-end PC or just want to hang out, chill with a beer in the cinema or something like this, that's pretty much everything you can do there, It's an all-around gaming experience from casual to hardcore.
It's insane. I can't wait until COVID is over and y'all, you make that focus on New York area, man. Or I might have to just catch a flight to enjoy Love in Berlin.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. I mean, the moment that you come over, drinks are on me, obviously.
Awesome.
But yeah, our plans with New York there, like, it's not just building, in Germany we're saying building sand castles in your head or something like this, or dream castles. So we are actually advanced with a couple of investors. They want to see a space like this, that's of this kind of quality, with this kind of vision behind it, and we are definitely thinking about building it like straight in Manhattan. In Berlin we are we are really downtown in the middle of the city. It doesn't get more central than our location in Berlin. It's one of the most high-frequented touristic monuments we have over here, Checkpoint Charlie. And it's pretty much the same that we're aiming for no matter where we go. So obviously you can always build a temple for nerds like us at some outer rim of any city, and we will come. But for us, the mission is really that people who have not been exposed to this realize how magical esports and gaming is, and that they see some value behind it and dive deeper into this. So that's why we are always aiming for really central locations in big cities, And for this, obviously, there are only 2 cities in the U.S. where right now I would build this, and that's New York and Los Angeles, obviously.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. That's two mega epicenters right there. So, and I'm sorry, I didn't even you explained it, and I wanted the listening audience to know we're talking about 26,000 square feet facility, and I know you have partners involved. I was reading about Level. You had like a $10 million fund. Can you tell us, kind of like what kind of partners are involved?
Yeah, so, those are 2 different things from my perspective. So we have partners in the way that we have really commercial partners. Most of them have not been reviewed yet. And we have investors, exactly. Our investors are, most of them are private investors, actually, which makes some things a lot easier. It's great. It's people who trust Thomas Felger, who also wanted to be on the show, but unfortunately couldn't make it. He sends his regards. Thomas Felger is a man who has been around the entire globe. He's built a very successful other company. He's an investor himself. He knows many people who want to invest too. So, like, all the getting the money, that's all his part, because that's like where he's unbeatable in that sense. So he has many people who trust him and who know if he builds something, then it will turn into gold. So that's why we have many private investors who are direct contacts of Thomas. And top of that, we obviously are, not obviously, but we are also part of Bitcraft, so the Esports Venture Capital Fund, located in Berlin, founded by Jens Hilgers, the guy who also invented pretty much esports by inventing and founding the ESL. So really high profile. And those are mostly our investors who make up for the funding that we have for building the first venue here in Berlin and have it running until the end of the year. And our partners think they're really top of the line peripheral brands, graphic brands, energy drink brands,
everybody.
Yeah, pretty much like everybody, no matter who we talked to, everybody was really intrigued. They were really like, okay, we've been pitched many times. We've been pitched concepts about physical gaming spaces, but nobody has built something like this. And if you will ever see this in person, you will learn to agree that this has not been done before.
Yeah, and I really want to paint the picture, Dorian, like of the ecosystem in Berlin, and not even Berlin, but overseas. From a grand scope of like esports being a big epic center into that culture. Over here in the States, I feel like we're kind of late to the party as far as infrastructure. So can you kind of explain, how that helped you grow Level at this point? Being in the middle of Berlin and being around all of these, I would call godfathers of esports who pretty much created the platform. Yeah,
the fun fact is that we are always also thinking that we are late to the party, but
really?
To some extent. The fun part about this is that, especially if we take a look at Germany now, because I'm German and I live in Germany, so obviously we have a lot of heritage there because the ESL was founded here. The 3 founders of the ESL, all German guys. Some of the first esports teams, like Mouse Sports, for instance, Germany-based, etc., etc. And we've always had the big events over here. However, like over the past 10 years, like there was a long phase where it felt like nobody realizes really the potential, and that's why I always think